What's going on, you guys? This is Jonathan here, and welcome to Garage Denali. So in this video, I want to talk to you guys about the benefits of driving an ex-cop car. You may already know that I recently bought a 2006 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, and there's quite a few reasons why I bought this car, but one of the biggest ones are for the benefits that this car has. So I want to demonstrate in this video exactly what those benefits are, so let's jump right into it. One of the many benefits with this car, driving it every single day, and keep in mind there are many, but I just want to highlight some of the key benefits, or that the first one is that people on the road, when they see a car like this, they just act civilized. Now, this doesn't apply to every single person you see, because once they eventually realize that you're not a cop and that you're just driving a retired cop car, then they realize. But usually from a distance, people can see that you're potentially a cop, and therefore they don't want to jeopardize getting a ticket, so therefore they act civilized. And this is beneficial because it allows you to get where you need to get to, and people don't tailgate you or they don't overtake you and they cut you off or anything like that. And that's pretty crucial, that's pretty beneficial. So what do I mean by that? Basically, I mean that people, if you're coming up to a four-way stop sign, people usually let you go. Now, that's not usually the case 100% of the time, but it does happen pretty often. If not that, then usually you see people coming to a complete stop, and that's also nice because people are not trying to cut you off. And even if you're not the first person to go or the second person to go, depending on when you got there, it shows that people are being extra cautious, so you do have that nice benefit. You don't really have tailgaters. Like I said, there are people who are just right on your bumper, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves while driving. And with this car, that doesn't really happen. I mean, it can still happen. It's not inevitable. It's not 100% impossible, but usually the odds are a lot lower that it occurs. What also I want to discuss is that when you're on the highway, for example, if you're on the freeway or any part of the road, that people just get out of your way. When they see a car like this in their rear view mirror, again, they don't want to jeopardize getting in trouble, and they just move right to the side and they do the limit, and then they let you go through. And usually if it's somebody who has a strong disliking for people driving ex-cop cars, then usually, yeah, when you're passing by the person and they look down into the window, they look inside, see who it is, then they get disgusted. But usually it's not really a problem. So here's an example to testify of what I just talked to. We're on the bypass right now. Speed limit is 55, coming right up, as you can see it. Okay, there it is. And you can check out the rate of the cars in front of me. So there you go. A couple people just moved over to the right into the slow lane. I'm doing about 60 now. I was doing 55, but I have stepped on the pedal a little bit so I can pass this person. But people are doing the limit. People are civilized. They don't know if I'm a cop or not. And again, like I said, they don't want to jeopardize it. They're very cautious when they're driving, both hands on the wheel. They're sitting upright, if you notice. Yeah, it's one of many perks of driving this car, and people just get out of your way, and it is priceless. Every single time it happens, it's just something that never gets old. I'm on the bypass. I'm doing a little over 55 miles an hour. I'm doing about 58. And just look how much distance there is in that rear view mirror. You know, look how much space there is between me and that guy. I hope you guys can see it well, but there's quite a few car lengths. This bypass is pretty notorious for people doing like 80, 85, 90 miles an hour. And once again, speed limit's 55. I'm doing just over 60 and I'm about to hit this person. So you gotta love that feeling when you almost seem like you're just king of the road. But it's important in the sense that if you have somewhere to go, and you're on a road like this, you can get around, or people just don't mess around and they get out of your way. But the downside to that is if you're on a two-lane road and you're in a rush somewhere, sometimes you're kind of stuck right behind those people. Okay, so just about now we're coming up to a four-way, or a three-way stop, I should say. It's gonna be a couple. Let's see if this person will stop completely. Using the turn signals, it didn't stop. That person let me go. That was nice, he gave me a hand sign, I flashed him back. But yeah, people will not jeopardize, you know? People will rather be safe than sorry. Looks like this guy is at a complete stop. I don't know if the video can pick it up. But yeah, people using their turn signals, people trying to obey the law as much as they can, priceless. See that guy let me go, nice of him. Respect for the Crown Vic, that's what it's all about when you're driving this. at least for the time being until these cars are phased out, but there's still plenty of them on the road. But respect for the Crown Vic. And that is very important because it ensures the safety of you, it ensures the safety of other people on the road, and also if you're in a place where there's people walking on the road, pedestrians, it also ensures the safety of them, so children, elderly. It allows for order. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that when you go and you park a car like this in a shopping center or a parking lot or anywhere like that, people are usually respectful of the car. They leave enough room. They try not to block you in or get too close because, again, they assume it's a cop. They don't want to break any laws. You know, that's just the human nature of driving a car like this. People would rather play it safe than sorry, and of course there are a couple people who do realize that this car is not an actual cop car if they pay really close attention, but overall to the average person, they know that, you know, this is probably a cop. So another perk with owning an ex-cop car, owning a Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, is that you just have so much room in a car like this. And I talked about this in my introductory video to this car, but I really can't stress it. You have so much room in here. You can fit 4 full-size adults very comfortably. You can even fit 2 more people. I have the C configuration in this car where I can fit a 3rd person up here in the front, and then of course you can also fit a 3rd person right in the back in the center. But you have all that room inside for carrying people or, you know, carrying whatever it is you may carry, golf clubs, grill, charcoal, anything really under the sun that is just needs to get around. But then you also have the massive trunk, and of course that was one of the problems with the BMW that I have is the trunk. It's a decent size, but sometimes I wish that I did have a slightly bigger trunk because it does come in handy. And with a car like this, you have all that room back there. It's very deep and it's very wide as well, and it's just very purposeful. So if you can carry a small grill, a bunch of charcoal, 100 pounds of meat if you're doing a giant cookout, and, you know, a tank or 2 of propane, you get all the room in the world. You can fit everything back there pretty comfortably, and of course you still have tons of room left over. And lastly, I want to say the 3rd biggest reason for why I chose this car, one of the biggest benefits of owning this car, is the fact that it's cheap. And of course you can turn that around and put it in a bad light, but I'm shining a positive light on it in the sense that this car is very cheap to run. It's very cheap as far as insurance, as far as gas. I mean, gas, that might be where it's controversial, but it only requires 87, and you know, that way you can just put whatever kind of gas you want in it. I mean, I'm still going to put top tier gas in this car regardless, but you're not spending so much money on premium fuel because the car just doesn't require it. Furthermore, to go along with that point, our parts are easy to replace. If something happens, you can just pry them off easily with your hands and you can just get a new part should something break. And these cars are so easily accessible. Parts are littered everywhere. It's cheap because it's easy to clean. You don't spend a lot of time fixing stuff, and the car is very durable. It's made to last. This is a Police Interceptor, so it's meant to take the abuse. Not that I'm going to be abusing it, but it's good to know that it's there and it can handle it. So this car will last a very long time. And those are just some of the 3 key takeaways of why I really like this car. I like the fact that it ensures order and it ensures people are minding their own business on the road for the most part, because again, it doesn't always happen. I love how much room this car has inside because there's ample room for almost anything you could ever do. I mean, you can't do the things a pickup truck can, which is fine, but hey, I guess that's why you get a truck. But apart from that, this car just has all the room that you could ever need for just a basic everyday car point of view. And thirdly, just to recap, like I said, parts are very cheap, labor is very cheap on this. It's easy to work on it if you are a DIY kind of guy. And you know, there's just nothing much to go wrong with these cars. They're a very simple car, very basic car, for better or for worse, depending on what you like in a car. But for me, I just like to have a car that I can just get around in. So I think this car is going to be a very good daily driver, and it is a good daily driver. A lot of people have had it for a long time, and you know, now it's my turn to have fun with this one. So that about sums it up for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful, found it informative. This is my opinion on the some of the key benefits of owning a Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. Let me know what you think. Check out my Instagram page at Garage Denali. I'll leave a link right in the video. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you very much, and take care.